The African wilderness was never truly silent, but today, something was wrong. Daniel Mbeki, a seasoned wildlife researcher, paused mid-step, his boots sinking slightly into the damp earth. The usual symphony of the jungle, the chatter of monkeys, the distant roar of lions, the rustle of unseen creatures in the undergrowth, was muted. Only the occasional call of a lone bird broke the eerie stillness. He adjusted the straps of his backpack, feeling the weight of his supplies: dried meat, water, a first aid kit, and his camera. He had been tracking a lion pride for weeks, documenting their movements for a conservation project. But today, the jungle felt different, tense. A gust of wind carried a scent that made his skin prickle. Decay. Something had died nearby. Daniel moved cautiously, following the smell until he reached a clearing. There, half hidden in the tall grass, lay the carcass of a young buffalo. Flies buzzed around it, and the stench was overwhelming. But what unsettled him more was the state of the body. It had been picked apart, yet not by hyenas or vultures. The kill was fresh, but the meat had barely been touched. This wasn't a normal kill. Chapter 2: The Shadow in the Grass. Daniel crouched, examining the tracks around the buffalo. Large paw prints, deep and uneven, as if the predator had been limping. A lion, but why abandon a fresh kill? Then he heard it. A low, guttural growl. His blood turned to ice. Slowly, he turned his head. Less than 20 feet away, half hidden by a thicket of thorn bushes, stood a massive male lion. His golden coat was dull, his ribs visible beneath his skin. His mane, once thick and dark, was patchy and matted. But his eyes, amber, burning with hunger, locked onto Daniel with terrifying intensity. This wasn't just any lion. This was Scar. A dominant male Daniel had been observing for months. A king of this territory, but now the king was starving. The standoff. Daniel's training kicked in. Don't run, don't look away. He straightened slowly, keeping his movements deliberate. The lion's ears twitched, his tail flicking like a whip. A starving predator was unpredictable, desperate. Daniel's mind raced. He had no weapon, no way to defend himself if the lion charged. But he did have food. With painstaking slowness, he reached into his backpack, never breaking eye contact. His fingers closed around the pack of dried meat. His own rations for the week. The lion's nostrils flared at the scent. Daniel tossed a piece onto the ground between them. The lesson of the wild. Weeks later, Daniel returned to the same clearing. This time the jungle was alive with sound. Birds sang, monkeys chattered, and in the distance, the deep roar of a healthy lion echoed through the trees. Daniel smiled. Somewhere out there, Scar was alive. No longer starving, no longer desperate. And as Daniel turned to leave, he knew he would never forget the day he fed a hungry lion, and in return learned the true meaning of courage. The end. The lion hesitated, then crept forward, sniffing. In one swift motion, he devoured the meat. Daniel exhaled shakily. It worked. He threw another piece farther this time, leading the lion away from him. The beast followed, his movements sluggish but focused. A dangerous gamble. Daniel knew he couldn't stay. A single misstep could turn this fragile truce into a deadly chase. But as he took a step back, the lion's head snapped up, his gaze piercing. Daniel froze. The lion took a step toward him. This is it, Daniel thought. I'm going to die in the middle of nowhere, eaten by a lion I tried to feed. But then, something unexpected happened. The lion sat down, not crouching to pounce, not growling, just sitting Watching him, Daniel's breath came out in a shaky laugh. "You're not going to eat me, are you?" The lion blinked, as if considering. The offering. Daniel knew he was pushing his luck, but he couldn't leave the beast like this. He reached into his bag again, this time pulling out a larger portion of meat. "Here," he murmured, placing it on the ground before slowly backing away. The lion approached, sniffed, then ate. For the next hour, Daniel stayed at a safe distance, tossing scraps whenever the lion looked at him. The tension between them eased, replaced by something almost like trust. But the sun was setting, and Daniel knew he couldn't stay in the jungle after dark. The parting. With the last of his food gone, Daniel slung his backpack over his shoulder. "That's all I've got, old friend." The lion stared at him. Then, to Daniel's astonishment, let out a soft chuff, a sound lions used among their pride. Then, with a slow, deliberate turn, the lion walked away, disappearing into the tall grass. Daniel stood there, stunned. He had just shared a meal with one of Africa's most dangerous predators and lived.